Hello and welcome to the Portrait Podcast, episode 195. I'm your host, Brad. This is my co-host, Eric.
How's it going?
And I am back from vacation. It was wonderful. Thanks for asking. We are here to wish for some stuff.
It is about that time, isn't it?
Normally, every winter, we do a Christmas wish episode before the holiday break here, where we go through every faction and say what they want for Christmas. However, this year's a little special because next year we're expecting 11th edition to hit. So instead, let's do every faction's 3 wishes for 11th edition.
Sounds good.
All right, for a surprise attack, before we get into the episode proper here, I just got back from vacation and YouTube's yelling at us because like the last month of episodes we recorded and had a lot of fun with, we didn't once really ask for YouTube pleasantries. Could you please make sure to do the YouTube pleasantries because YouTube is mad that we never actually remind you guys to do them. So this is me asking you to do all of the things that I hate having to ask you for on YouTube. Okay, that's the end of that. I'm sorry. I hate doing it, but if we don't do it, I get yelled at.
And while we're doing some quick before the episode things, some news about the scheduling.
Oh, yes. We're going to be doing episodes normally right up to the week of December 30th, and then there will be a 2-week break with us returning on January 20th with the new season. This means basically nothing to anybody except for the first 2 weeks of January. You have to listen to reruns. You're not allowed to not listen to us. You must listen to reruns.
And if you really need more, we'll have bonus content released if you're a patron. So, you know.
True, and maybe in our free time, we'll do a little more streaming, which we've been meaning to do over on Twitch more often. We did one like 2 weeks ago. We should do one the week you hear this so that this is relevant.
Yeah.
We're real good at this, guys. All right, enough of that. Let's get into the episode now.
So some rules for wishes, because I wish for more wishes is not.
Yeah, okay, fine. All right, rules for wishing, if we're going to have them. Number 1, no wishing for more wishes, the default rule 0. Number 2, no wishing purposely for the misery of other factions or any troll stuff like that. It's about wishing for stuff for you. I don't care how thematic it is, other Thousand Sun players. We can't just wish for Space Wolves to get hurt. It's funny, but let's wish for Thousand Sun stuff.
It is funny, but like there's plenty that you can wish for yourself.
Number 3, no wishing for anything too wild. We can wish for things that we talked about in our 11th edition predictions episode, which this is the sequel to kind of, but we have to be aware that like we said during that episode, 80% of that is never going to happen. It was just us spitballing ideas. It's very likely 11th is just going to be an iteration on 10th with maybe 1 or 2 big improvements. Please let one of them be psychic.
Yeah, that would be quite nice. But like, hey, I want 400 new units is not an acceptable wish.
Yeah, you have to wish for something that is reasonable for you to get in 11th. If it has been 10 years since you've had a refresh, or there is a highly rumored refresh for your faction, you can wish for that. But you can't just wish for a faction refresh when you got one in 10th edition Tyranids players.
So I think those rules are just like general ideas that seem fine. Let's jump straight in to Adepta Sororitas.
So for our 3 wishes here, which again, these aren't really in an order. Sometimes wish 1 is just our favorite, most important wish, but generally the 3 wishes are just 3 wishes. 1, this was your idea, Eric, a generic living saint.
Yeah, something like think Transcendent Catan in like idea scope of like, hey, there's a generic thing of these like really cool named character kind of things going on, and living saints are just like really cool ideas for sisters. So I'd love to see like what they could do with it.
Yeah, it's a neat concept of like a build your own lore for a super impressive special character.
Yeah, and there are a lot of people out there that play Warhammer that don't like the named like epic heroes characters. It's like, I want to play my version of it kind of thing. And yeah, I think a generic living saint would be great for that.
Yes, and I think we're going to be talking about that a couple times throughout this episode, but the paradox of I want my named characters for my faction, but I also don't want to be forced to play them because I want it to be about my guys when I want it to be about my guys. But I want my named characters to be good enough that I have a reason to play them if I want to.
Right.
It's the awkward, ideally there's a great balance with named characters that have lore weight where they're cool and fun to play with, but also not mandatory.
And you have options of playing some like generic things that you can show as your own.
For wish number 2, we've got bring back 5 model squad squads for sisters and I guess dominions, but importantly, make it so that they cost more points and are worth more to field so that they feel more elite and less like all girl guard squad, which is kind of how sisters feel at times.
Yeah, I mean, like currently a sister squad is, just 10 models, but it's 105 points. Yeah, that is more than guards basic one, but like not by much. And they should be like better essentially. And then just like bump the points up a bit more to show it off.
Yeah, in general, we are for making the spread between non-elite and elite more noticeable in this game. It's criminal that 5 Space Marines is like 75 points right now. That's insane.
Yeah, we can kind of like bump all of that up a bit, especially because like if you split a Battle Sister squad down to 5, that's not many points, right? Like it's going to be like what, like 50?
Yeah, it's like less than fielding 10 guard.
Yeah. So if we're going to split it up into 5, which I think is a great idea, likely need to just rebalance it so that the points are a bit more in general. And like, yeah, don't make the unit worse. So like buff them a little bit while you're doing it. And then I guess for Wish 3, we're looking at like, let's get some like prayers a la AOS style because we want Psychic back.
Yes, we talked about this in our 11th edition spitballing episode. The idea of bring Psychic back, have it look a lot more like spells in AOS, be phase based rather than have a Psychic phase. Just, have your spells that throw fireballs happen in the shooting phase, have your spells that buff melee dudes happen either during combat or at charge phase or whatever. Do stuff for generic buffs in the command phase that last till next command phase. You know the drill. Make them work more like abilities but with proper casting and all that. And the way you make this feel fair to everybody is you give the factions that don't have Psychic stuff like prayers in AOS, which is a different system. The prayer system is really good in AOS.
But it can like fill the same role in like gameplay style, just, a little bit of functionality difference to show that like, oh, they are actually kind of different lore.
Yes, you're not quite so reliable super buffs / big booms, stuff like that.
And I think it would fit great for Sister. So
yeah, prayers is a slam dunk here. And not everyone who would need prayers is going to wish for it here. This is about like your 3 top wishes. We're getting to Custodes next. Custodes is not going to wish for prayers, even though they're not a Psychic faction. Just so we know going into the rest of these, like you won't always see the same stuff. This is about the top 3 wishes that we had for each faction.
So for Adeptus Custodes, our first wish is Plastic the Forge World.
Yeah, so this will not come from 11th itself, but will hopefully happen during 11th.
The sooner the better.
Yeah, this is something that would come from the Forge World side of things through Horus Heresy. We do know that early in the current Horus Heresy edition, they made a big joke about some big golden reveal coming up. The assumption is that will be the Plastic Custodes range, which would give us a Plastic Custodes range to put into 40k properly and properly support within the codex and not make it some stapled on stuff, properly add it to 40k.
So there are some of the Forge World kits currently that like, whatever, it would be fine. But
we don't need a plastic Ares gunship.
Like if it happens, okay, whatever. But there are other ones that are a bit more important, like the Telemon. Probably a great idea.
Eric will just be happy if it comes with its arms. Or the Venatari, which in my opinion is a great unique custody kit that like has a real battlefield purpose that is not the same as the rest of the range, but only exists in resin right now in Forge World and isn't properly supported through the codex. So the more important ones from the list, at least. I'm not saying we need the Aquilin Terminators when we already have Terminators, but like it'd be nice to get like the Dreads and the Venatari.
So Wish 2, no like full definition here, just something more interesting than Martial Kata.
Yeah, anything that feels more Custodes than the Tank Nose Kung Fu.
It's funny when you say it that way, but also we could do better.
It's the laziest tacked on army rule that was added in 9th when they were like, oh shit, Custodes needs a rule in this slot that somehow made its way into 10th without just getting replaced.
Yeah.
It's weird. And then for a Wish 3, we have new Anathema Psychana units. Nothing specific, just expanding that part of the range as well. Because while while more plastic Custodes would be awesome, expanding the Sisters of Silence to match would be nice.
Especially because, like, right now, the Witch Seekers, Vigilators, and Prosecutors are all built from the same kit.
Yeah, they're a weapon swap.
You can't really do too much pose changing excitement going on there. So, like, yes, there are 3 units, but also not really. So, like, yeah, let's get a new kit, have some, new posing options. And my little take here, because of a recent episode we've done, let's get a proper BFG on the unit.
Sure, so like Melta Sisters of Silence?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. I'm here for it, because honestly, that fills a hole in Custodes range, too.
Yeah.
All right, shall we do Admech next?
Yeah, so wish number 1 for Admech being a new Legio Cybernetica unit. So, like, we've got just the Cybernetica Data Smith and the Castellan robots, and the robots are really cool, but like...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the robots expanding the Mechanicus part of Admech has been the wish for every time we've done the Christmas wish.
One day.
But yeah, there's a reason for that.
It will continue to be on the wish list until it happens.
I'm not even saying it has to be the 30k kits.
No, it could be whatever.
I will take whatever you want to cook up, GW. Just give us more cool robots.
So the second wish is something that, like, we've kind of brought up a bunch, not like necessarily like, oh, this is a wish, but like
basically every time we talk about Admech from a monetary standpoint.
Yeah, Admech points are just insane.
Borderline criminal would be the words.
So we need complete ground up rework of balance for the points, and like keep in mind a bit about how much the kits are actually costing monetarily when you're doing it.
Yeah, if you're going to be selling 1 to 3 models for $60 US, they cannot be pointed like a guard model but in robes.
Yeah.
You have to point them somewhere more elite than that, especially because Admech just being guard in robes is so sad for the tech guys.
So like it's not just a like, oh, monetarily we need you to do better kind of thing. Like that is something that needs to be in mind. But like from a lore like playing aspect, their current balance is ridiculous. Those points are way too few. These are supposed to actually be cool and scary and fun, exciting units, not guard and robe.
And this is post data slates and post all sorts of changes we've got to make them at all defensible at these points.
Yeah.
Like they should have been pushed even further. I appreciate that any work was done, but like we need to go further. But on to wish number 3 here. This one was an Eric idea. I kind of like it though. A ranged unit for the Mechanicum lineup, like with the Electro Priests.
Yeah, because like all we really have are like the destroyers.
Yeah, the Cataphrons, the Breachers, the Destroyers.
Yeah, to be like proper ranged units, but like the Electro Priests are so cool for me. So it's like let's get a ranged Electro Priest kind of unit.
Yeah, because they can do like their punchy Tesla gloves, but that's like not a real. I get what you're saying. Like you're saying like real guns on priests.
Yeah, to like fit in with like a more shooty army that you would kind of make sense for Admech. One of the patrons brought up Myrmidons.
Yes.
I did not know about this unit at all, but like
it's a 30k unit.
Something kind of like that, but like Electro Priest styled, similar thing going on there. I think that could fit a little hole that's currently missing for Admech as far as I'm concerned. And like I think the model would look really cool.
Hang on.
Oh no, you're searching for that.
No, it's the fact that these got revealed 2 weeks ago. This is the new plastic kit.
Oh shit.
Yeah, this is the 30k models they're getting like in a couple weeks.
I did not know that. Fuck, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So like that. I want like something like that. Holy shit, those are cool.
I have shown Eric the new Myrmidon models. He was unaware that they were getting made.
No, I was looking at the old ones and I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool, but like it needs some updating. Like let's fix them up a little bit. But like, shit, dog, these are cool. So yes, I'm even more in love with my wish for Admech here.
All right, let's move into IG. Imperial Guard, Astra Militarum, whatever we want to call them. We've got 3 wishes.
Marcadians.
No.
Oh.
You stop that right now. Not even as a joke. Cadia fell.
But was rebirthed like a phoenix.
Fuck new Cadia. Anyway, number 1, Eric wrote refresh Catachan line, which is fair.
I think that's pretty fair.
We can get Harkin back since it was every 3rd comment of last episode that in 19-2 there was an IG character who was exactly what Eric dreamed up.
Yeah.
Too bad he doesn't exist anymore.
But the Catachans could definitely use a refresh.
Yeah, just getting rid of a certain face.
And like the models have so much potential. So like you could do the refresh and people would be excited for it kind of thing.
I'm going to say, like, let's bridge this into my wish here, which is wish number 2. This is what we're basically asking for with Catachan, but like for something that doesn't exist here. Doing an equivalent to what we did for Cadia and Krieg so far, and we're saying refresh Catachan properly to be the same. Do this for 1 or 2 other guard worlds. It doesn't all have to be during 11th, but like do it again a couple times. Look, monetarily, this is a bad investment. Like GW is not going to make their money doing this. But from a world building standpoint, this helps more than just guard because it feels more alive, like from a world building, from a playing with a local community aspect, to have different guard players with very different looking armies because they like different guard worlds.
I mean, to be fair, it doesn't have to be a monetary failure, especially if they push it with some like a new book series.
Sure.
You can do this in a way that works and is not just pissing money away.
It's going to be an uphill battle, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think we could at most hope for a 4th. I think asking for 2 is a bit much, but it's kind of my point, though, is like the variety of guard. If they all had an equivalent amount of models available to them as like Krieg, and we say like we're updating the Russ and all that at a later date, and that has the ability to get a commander of any of the different varieties, or you make that part of the command squad kit to slap onto a Russ or whatever, like just as an extra bit, however you handle it. Doing that so that you can flavor your guard differently. So not every guard army looks like the same fucking Cadians.
Yeah.
That's a big wish for me, and it's like not just a boon to guard, but as non-guard players, it's a boon to us for variety when playing against guard. And I'm not even saying they have to be that different play-wise. If anything, it should be like have a thematic detachment that matches that section of the army, and like 2 of their kits is slightly different than the other kits available to the other factions. Like Krieg and Cadia are like 80% the same. Yes, Krieg horses are slightly different than the generic horses that everyone has access to. There's little differences here and there, but you've got your artillery guys, your heavy weapon guys, your generic infantry troops that are like the same thing. You handle it like that through 4 or 5 different sections of guard, and suddenly every time you face someone from guard, there's a chance that it is a different type of guard and they look different. Even if they play like guard, you'll feel like you're getting more variety.
I think that this one is a bit far out there.
It's a bit far. This is one of the ones I almost deleted because I think it's too much to ask for.
But long term, it could be possible, and I think it would be quite nice to have.
Again, I think this one's a stretch, but let's go into number 3 here, Eric. This is you again, though I agree with it to some extent.
So wish number 3 is indirect fire rework. Indirect fire's been a problem on every scale of too good, too bad. Like it's a problematic thing.
Since we started playing, it's always been a problem one way or another. It is every once in a while, it's in an okay spot where it's not too strong and it's not totally useless.
So like if you're going to be changing indirect fire, like it's probably more at like an 11th edition full change, let's try again kind of thing. But since we're in guard, it would be neat if there was like a guard detachment, you know, like a full like detachment to do indirect fire in a like thematically better way. Kind of thing. So you didn't have to ruin everything else, essentially.
Sure. So you can have indirect fire still be not a problem tournament wise for every single faction with access to it, but you can have indirect fire heavy guard not feel bad or way too good. So you give them a detachment that buffs it in some way that's controlled. It's playing with fire.
It is.
No pun intended. I realized that too late.
Oh man, you fucking nailed it too.
I really did. And then I was like, ew, that's a really bad dad pun.
But I do think that like this is the kind of style for these problematic rules that I would prefer, of like make the core rule okay, and then for the factions that really need it, like you can push it in a detachment a bit, and then if it's a problem you can change that one detachment a bit instead of having points decreases across the entire fucking game.
I don't disagree with you because I like the idea of making sure guard can field an indirect fire fire heavy, artillery heavy
Yeah.
lineup, right? Giving them that because it's very thematic for guard, while not having the ideal way to play orcs be 18 buggies firing off indirect fire. They were the squig cannons or whatever.
Something like
It's been a while.
But like stupid shit like that.
Making that never happen again.
So yeah, I think that that's like a way that they can do that kind of stuff, because indirect fire is a core part of guard. It not being good at all is kind of a problem. So that's wish number 3. Let's hit Grey Knights.
Eric, ask for a range refresh. For 10th edition.
Yeah, for 10th edition, that would be so nice, man. It's all set up too. They're like, everything's teed up.
It's the Terminator edition. You have to be getting one in 10th edition. It's going to be so good.
It's just like everything lines up perfectly. We're ready for it.
You're like the oldest Imperium faction. You're super lined up for a refresh here. Surely 10th edition will be your edition. They'd be fools to not do it.
So, first wish for Grey Knights is I'll settle for just bringing Keldor Drago back.
Have him come back from the hammer store.
Yeah, if we're gonna like not go with the full range refresh, and I'm gonna like set my bar low because of the original rules for this, Keldor Drago and hammers.
I think of all Imperium factions, Grey Knights is the one that can absolutely ask for a range refresh as a wish. You are the oldest Imperium faction.
And there aren't that many units. You don't actually have to do that much.
That's true.
For being completely fucking honest.
It's sad but true. Yeah, it's like 3 kids.
Yeah, that would be nice.
What else you got?
Sure. Wish 2, Psychic.
Yeah, having Psychic like properly exist again. It's a good wish for Grey Knights. Spoiler alert, I will be saying it again when we get to Thousand Suns.
It's similar to like what we said for Sisters, like one of their wishes being prayers. We're not going to say Psychic or prayers for every single faction, but for the ones that like Grey Knights really want Psychic back, that's a wish. That's number 2. Number 3, Anti-Tank.
That's a fair wish, bud. I'll give it to you. 100%.
Yeah, it's been long enough.
I'm sorry. As someone who was playing Dreadnought Heavy Iron Hands the other week, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I guess that was like a month ago now. Jeez, I had a long vacation. It was nice, huh?
You went on vacations, but
Oh.
yeah, just some type of anti-tank. Like hammers, if you properly do them, could work, I guess. Buffs, psychic buffing stuff. So like, don't fucking care how you do it. Just make it happen. Okay, give us the option.
All right, moving from part of the Inquisition to another part. Imperial Agents. You're like half a faction. I'm going to say, number 1, a real army rule.
Yeah, I actually prove that you're like a real faction.
Have an army rule that doesn't say this is how you soup.
This is how you play with other factions.
Number 2, I really liked this one. This was one Eric pointed out. Character customization. If you're the type of person who wants to play Imperial Agents, you're the number 1. I want this to be about my special character I dreamt up. You are probably an artist first or a big lore head who loves a certain series or another one. Like, this is the faction where I 100% think better character customization, which was one of our wishes for 11th edition, is like one of the prime things Imperial Agents is wishing for.
And like, I think GW also sees that. Like, they have the Veiled Blade Elimination Force detachment that like tries to like the enhancements buff the specific unit. So like they know that like the characters matter for this faction.
But 10th wasn't made for it, which is why that detachment A sucks. But B is just like, it knows what it wishes it was, but it didn't have the balls in order to actually do it.
Yeah. So hopefully with 11th, you know, we said that there's better character customization. I think Imperial Agents is one of the factions that really, really does want that.
Number 3 is all on you, Eric. I don't disagree, but like...
All right, wish number 3, Imperial Agents needs more rogue trader stuff. So like a detachment focused on like rogue traders because they're cool, all right?
They're a lot cooler than anything to do with the Inquisition.
And like, since they're in Imperial Agents, let's actually prove and show it off with some rules. But that's about it for Imperial Agents. It's tough because like the faction itself is a little anemic, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a half faction.
So let's move into Imperial Knights because they have so many more units.
All right, that's painful.
I got them.
Okay, so wish 1 here. This is specifically for IK. IK and CK are different for once. Imperial Knights would like more variety in their Armiger lineup, and honestly, they really want the Cerastus frame to be made properly part of the Codex and to be properly supported in 40K. It's got this beautiful plastic kit that's sitting there on every LGS shelf, but I can't recommend anybody buy it because I know it's a knife's edge away from not existing in 40K at all, and it's barely got support within the codex. Please make it properly part of 40K. I personally will sell you hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of them to my audience the second I feel comfortable telling people they need to go out and buy Cerastus Knights because they're the coolest fucking shit.
It was like thousands of those dollars are going to be personally Brad's.
Given the price and how many I would buy,
Yeah, it's not unreasonable.
it's not as unreasonable as I want to deny right now. So look, CK has way more variety in their war dogs, which helps a lot on that aspect of building. IK would like it. CK is cursed with only war dogs are ever good for the most part, depending. But
Yeah.
statistically for the last like 6 years, that's been the case. If you were dropped on a random weekend, IK would still like the variety though. And then number 2, this is honestly all knights, but IK specifically will be the one to make the wish, which is better base saves. Fucking
Yeah.
hate ranged only invols and 3-up saves on my knight, which has a worse save than a fucking Lehman Russ.
And like the toughness is like reasonably high, but it's also not like, oh my God, it's so tough that like it doesn't matter kind of thing. You still need a save. And these current ones are trash.
An Imperial Knight should make me want to spend 500 points on it.
Yeah.
Make them frightening. Make them worth a quarter of an army.
Because like there is always like the, oh my gosh, but there are going to be some factions that won't be able to answer it. There's already like kind of sort of baked into that single model is a quarter of your army. If you still want knights to exist, that's just, you have to accept that, yeah, there is going to be some matchups. Like they're not going to be able to answer the knight. But like in those matchups, most likely the opponent should just win on points. Like just go score victory points, like win the game. So yeah, make the knights better base save.
And then moving into our last point, the real third point we gave to CK on this one. So we'll just say a hover knight.
Hell yeah.
Still want it. Still be cool as shit. Give Call the schematic so he can make hover knights.
It really would be really cool, wouldn't it?
Moving into Space Marines, yes, we'll let the special snowflakes each have an extra wish or two. But for now, Space Marines proper, what are their 3 wishes they can ask for the world because they're Space Marines and they're funding this game?
So clearly, wish number 1 is a new lieutenant.
Your wish is granted.
This is ranked, and like not all of these have the wish number 1 being the most important. Space Marines, absolutely. Wish number 1, the most important, has to happen kind of thing.
Yeah, so you could have 500 new lieutenants. You know what? That's one wish.
Hell yeah. All right, Brad, what's wish number 2 for him?
Wish number 2, and a little more realistic here for what we're wishing / shot calling for the beginning of 11th here. Primarisify the remaining old Marine kits that are of any consequence, because there's like 500 of them still. Basically the Rhino, the Land Raider, and maybe another heavy weapon squad, bonus points if they're in Gravis because it's cool. And then you can clean up the rest of the old Marine range, send the boomers to Horus Heresy into their exile where they can play shitty old Marines or shitty old Marines for the rest of time and never interact with me again.
Wow.
This is Space Marines' wish, not mine, by the way.
Right, absolutely. I do think that some of those definitely could use an update. As iconic or whatever as some of them are, Land Raider's actually pretty pitiful looking when you play it. I'm sorry, it just is.
And there's nice ones in Horus Heresy already. I'm 50-50 on if I like the Horus Heresy Proteus Land Raider or the normal Land Raider worse. They're not my style of tank either way, but I appreciate the variety between the two because one is based off like the original model from like Metal Era. I know you could redesign the Land Raider again and keep it 90% giant box with some guns on the side and make it look better and probably hover. Hovering is instantly cooler. Get over it, treadheads.
But I think that is one of the, like, just because we're saying Primarisify these older kits and like move those older ones into Horus Heresy or whatever, doesn't mean that like we're saying like, oh, fucking get rid of the entire idea of the Land Raider. Like you could still make the Land Raider idea into a Primarisified Land Raider.
Yeah, and I know some people will argue the Impulsor and Repulsor were the attempt at this. They were terrible. Everyone knows it. No one considers them the equivalent of the Rhino or the Land Raider. The Impulsor is a fucking pickup truck. It can't hold 10 dudes. Not the same as a Rhino.
If that was their attempt, please do better this next time.
Attempt again and pretend it wasn't your attempt.
Yeah. Convince us that it wasn't actually your attempt.
Wish number 3 here. Now, we could wish for something useful, but instead, because we saw the White Scars character and how much better he looks than the shitty Outriders hover bikes.
Yeah.
We're going to say you squat those Outriders immediately. Replace them with hover bikes. Everyone pretends there were no Outriders ever. Becomes a community joke. No one knows what people are talking about if they post what's this model. No one knows. We only had hover bikes. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's about right. So, yeah, okay, fine. Blood Angels, you get at least one wish.
Okay, Blood Angels wish number 1, 2, and 3 is all for the Sanguinary Guard kit to get redone again. Do it again. Admit you fucked up. Make a real one.
Make a real one.
That is unacceptable. I don't even play Blood Angels. I am offended by the Sanguinary Guard kit. It can stay the 3-man. They can stay with their sculpted abs and all that. That's correct. That's all good. Where the fuck are their wings? Why do they have such fat faces?
I don't know. It's weird. It doesn't make any sense.
I've done my rant on it. We're gonna move on. Dark Angels. Honestly, wish number 1 is probably Raven Wing bikes, but instead we're going to say detachment rule for plasma weapons.
I mean, the bikes, yeah, sure. But like, honestly, having something with plasma weapons would be pretty cool from a rules aspect. That'd just be fun, right?
It's their whole Dark Age technology, keepers stuff, lore-wise. It gives Green Wing something interesting. Like, a detachment for it would be cool.
Yeah.
Space Wolves. Look, they've got one wish. It limes with lemon lose. No, lemon lus. Whatever.
Christ. Oh, wow. All right. Yeah. Thunderwolf Cavalry.
Yeah, Thunderwolf Cavalry. You're right. Yeah.
Black Templars. What do you have?
To be deleted. This is their real wish, I promise.
Yeah, honestly, no idea. Deathwatch?
Don't be deleted. Delete Black Templars instead. This is our real wish.
Yeah. It's scary, isn't it? I think GW understands now that like they shouldn't get rid of it, but you never know.
I think Deathwatch, the idea with Imperial Agents could have worked, but it was so half-assed and so poorly thought out. And it'll sour people more to the idea because it was so bad on attempt 1 that they'll be hesitant to support it ever again, even if it could be done really well.
Yeah, because like I do think that like Imperial Agents, that whole idea with them and Deathwatch could have been done, but it wasn't done well enough to actually like justify Deathwatch happening kind of thing.
The fact that you lose access to every one of your generic units to try doing it was such a stupid ass idea originally.
Yeah, and at this point,
I still think that could have been a thing. But the point is, in general, Deathwatch needs to continue existing, needs to be a thing. I'm not even a Deathwatch fan. I don't even like them, but I get it.
Yeah, Deathwatch has fans. There are people that play it, and they're totally justified in saying, please don't kill us. The attempt with Imperial Agents was not okay.
Unlike Black Templars, which should be deleted. Moving on.
We're into Chaos. So Chaos Demons, this one's a little tough.
I'll take Chaos Demons. This is my babies. I really don't want us to exist as a single faction anymore. We talked about this over and over again. Wish number 1 is to exist with a codex, but preferably to exist as 4 codices, with a 5th support somewhere else we'll get into. That's a separate wish. Full support in each of these 4 codices for mortals, demons, and mixed varieties there within for each of the 4 gods. Codex Tzeentch, Codex Khorne, Codex Nurgle, Codex Slanesh.
Yeah, we've kind of brought this up.
Fill them with detachments. Make sure there are plenty of ways to play only demons, plenty of ways to play only mortals, and plenty of ways to play both. These should be fat. These should feel very fun, flavorful, rules heavy. They should make Chaos look interesting.
It seems unlikely that the 4 codex split is actually going to happen, given like that we have like Emperor's Children now.
Given that it's a good idea.
Right? So like it would be nice if that was what's done. If not, like a codex that kind of figures out a way to do those would be nice as well.
Look, if it exists as one codex, it needs to have like, I shit you not, 30 detachments in it.
Yeah.
Like that is not an understatement. That is how many detachments you would need for variety within demons. But anyway, wish 2, and I don't think this is greedy.
I think it is.
This is one of the oldest and least funded factions in the game by the 40K team. I know AOS team, you've tried.
Chaos Demons is on life support because of AOS. Otherwise, they'd be dead.
The only reason it's not dead is AOS, yes. Which is at least 2 to 3 new units per god. Not characters and not monsters. Filling out the other roles within the army. Because when you try to make a list of any of the gods, you find out real quick you do not have options. you have, here are your 4 units you will be putting in this list until you hit 2,000 points.
Yeah, I mean, it is honestly kind of pathetic.
And we have characters for days in all of the gods. We don't need more characters right now. Khorne maybe could use 1, but I'd much rather get some generic units.
And this is Chaos Demons. You can do basically anything. It is literally like demons can be whatever the fuck needs to be. So like, don't worry about it. Go wild. I feel like 2 to 3 is a bit much, if we're being honest.
It'd be nice if the 40K team actually went 1 for 1 with the AOS team and said, you know what? You put this much on the table, I'll do the same. Since demons should be the core concept behind Warhammer, the warp and all of the fuckery with chaos, this is what makes our setting not Lord of the fucking Rings.
Yeah, kind of. And I mean, like, yeah, it's also one of the cooler parts to 40K.
Yeah, it's like the core concept that makes everyone feel the appeal of Warhammer as a setting. Anyway, I am aware that I always get heated when I talk about the things I love here. Chaos Demons wish number 3. As for that 5th codex thing that I talked about, I'm not saying we need a true undivided codex. There are very few people who legitimately want to run all 4 parts of chaos at once, unless it's Monster Mash.
Yeah.
So somewhere in some codex or book of some type needs to be an undivided soup rule so you can run Be'lakor and the Greater Demons together. That's all we need.
I agree that is something that's nice, but like there is also a whole of like 2 of the 4 teaming up kind of thing.
Yeah, but then we get into like the certain ones are supposed to like never team up really, and this is where it gets into like, look, Chaos Soup is very awkward to argue.
But if you're trying to defend a single, like you have your 4 codices for, you know, the independent gods and, you know, the demons and mortals and all that stuff with them, and then you have a 5th one that's like undivided and then like extra detachments for like, you know, the team ups kind of thing, that could be potentially enough to fill out like a codex. But I feel like that's maybe a bit too much work for the payoff for like the 10 people that would actually care.
Yeah, it is enough if you can play your Greater Demons together.
Yeah.
That's all anyone wants to do when we want to soup our demons together.
That's fair.
All right, into Chaos Knights. We actually have a different wish than Imperial Knights for once. Some of them had overlap between the two, but Chaos Knights, wish number 1, the most important wish of all. As we talked about in the 11th edition wish list, remove Battle Shock, at least as it exists. There was argument for like keeping leadership as a stat for special scenarios and stuff and using it as like a mental check or something.
Yeah.
But whatever. Get rid of Battle Shock. Don't make Chaos Knights care about battle shocking stuff. Fuck Battle Shock. Give us proper rules.
Yeah. It feels so obvious that like Chaos Knights army rule is not, it's not it, Chief.
And then I guess for wish number 2 here, a new big knight, but like a proper weird knight. Like chaos the shit out of this knight. Not just the little tail the Abominant's got, not just some extra spikes on the Christoris knight and you pretend it's different. No. Proper fucking weird. Go for it.
Like it shows like a demon fucked with this thing and it's weird now.
It's got 5 legs.
Yeah, something like that. 2 heads.
One of its arms is just a crab arm.
Really go wild with it. It's a big knight. You have a lot of real estate to make it weird. You don't have to worry about like, oh, it's going to overload this tiny little model. There's going to be too much stuff going. Nah, it's big knight. You could do a bunch. Go wild.
Look at the accursed cultists. You see how fucked up they are? Make the knight equivalent. If a person is a knight, the accursed cultist is the knight we're asking for.
So many times we talk about Chaos Knights or Imperial Knights and we like have to bring up their counterpoint of like, well, it's Chaos Knights is just Imperial Knights with spikes. Kind of like bullshit.
Yes.
And it's not true, but
sometimes it's true.
Sometimes it's true. This is another way of like make a big knight and make it chaos weird. And now you're like, well, it's very much not any of those Imperial Knights, but just with spikes. There's nothing in similarity kind of thing.
All right. Wish number 3, which again, this was the real wish number 3 over on IK side, but we didn't want them to say the same thing. Much more variety in list building / character building / knight building, whatever we want to call it. We want 9th edition level Chaos Codex customization when it comes to customizing a knight. We talked about it before. If you want me to play with 5 to 7 models in my list, let me customize the hell out of them. Let this be something interesting for me to put together and make my super interesting dudes with their very unique feel so that it feels interesting when I'm looking at other factions I could be playing that have access to dozens of different types of models that they could be playing. Those ones don't need as much variety within a single unit to modify it. Space Space Marines doesn't need 500 options on every one of their kits because they have literally 120 kits. Chaos Knights, with our 4 different types of war dogs that I can think of, 6, whatever, a handful of different types of war dogs and a handful of Questoris Knights, let us customize these things to Kingdom Come.
Yeah, it's one of those Chaos Knights, Imperial Knights, Agents, like some factions just need that customization more. They really do need it, as opposed to like, yeah, Space Marines, sure, yeah, it's going to be nice to be able to customize some of your characters. That would be cool. But like, you don't need it. You can just play other characters, essentially. Like, you have options. So yeah, a couple of these factions like Chaos Knights really have been done dirty by 10th's lack of customization.
All right, so for Chaos Space Marines, what do we have first, Eric?
All right, so wish number 1 is going to be the Undivided Legions are going to get at least one unique epic hero.
This sounds like parity with Space Marines. That's asking for a lot.
It is, actually.
That was Space Marines like 5th release for the edition. I don't know if we can budget that for you.
Yeah, maybe over the next decade we'll get there. But like, honestly, they're all kind of there. You just have to do it, right?
Yeah. All right. That one's pretty self-explanatory. Wish 2 better be, because this is, in my opinion, the most basic wish. The Redemptor / Brutalis Hellbrute.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing even in Space Marine 2. Look at how small the Hellbrute is. It's stupid. Please, please give us a proper sized Hellbrute to match modern 40k sizes.
We've talked about that a couple times and like totally agree. And it's weird because like I don't dislike the Hellbrute. I think it's a fine model.
Design wise, it's all right. It's better than the Dreadnought by 7 miles.
I legitimately think it's a pretty decent model. It's just when you play it in the rest of the game, it's like, I mean, I guess if you're up against Grey Knights, it's fine. But like, you can properly make the Hellbrute the right size.
For wish number 3 here, this one's a little specific, but it's worth mentioning. Night Lords, since they're getting some attention with models and upgrade sprues and stuff, let's rework their detachment rule so it still shows fear, but without being battle shock based. We talked about it in the 11th edition episode, all the different ways you can show off fear without touching a unique stat like battle shock or any form of leadership like that. Do anything else.
Yeah, this one is a bit specific, but I think it does matter.
It affects the identity of one of the major parts of this faction.
Yeah, this is a reasonable wish to see. So moving on from there, we're into Death Guard. And honestly, Death Guard's in a pretty decent spot right now. So there aren't like obvious wishes like Redemptor, Brutalis, Hellbrute. So what do we have for them?
So first of all, you have the Chaos Lord / Captain equivalent. I guess it's a fair one. Technically, they have all the different lords, which are all like a variant, but I get your point of like rules wise, a Captain equivalent.
Yeah, I knew that you were going to bring that up of like, oh, they've got all these Lord versions. And it's like, I don't give a shit, bro. They don't have the rules Captain equivalent. You can put that on any of the Lords and it'll be fine too, I guess. But how are they missing that? So what else do they have?
All right, so the one to me is, it's weird because like now Death Guard is somewhat happy with their army rule, even though like early in the edition, it was the worst outrage ever of how much they hated it. Turns out when you boost it enough, they finally start liking it.
Well, I mean, they like properly made it matter and like kept theme and stuff. It's like, it's fine, but I definitely had problems earlier in the edition.
So I'm going to say the actual second wish to me is rework their army rule for 11th, make it back to a durability focus again. I appreciate that you got the whole Nurgle's Gift thing and Contagion and all that to work, but I get the argument of at its core, to a lot of people, the reason they got into Death Guard was it was the dirtily slow, super defensive faction that was chaos based, because you could argue Custodes kind of sort of fills the role, though they're just super hyper elite.
Yeah, it's less dirtle and more just they're very elite.
Yeah, whereas Death Guard was artillery stuff combined with slow unkillable stuff, and that was your army.
Yeah.
Sending it back that direction so that we've got that as a baseline, and it'll work out well in my opinion when we get later into chaos here, and you can then do a detachment that's for contagion stuff if you want to keep that as a fun rule. For what it's worth, as we talked about early in the edition, I love the idea of a debuff faction.
Yeah.
I think that could be an identity if you went hard into it for Death Guard, but I think for the majority of the Death Guard Guard fan base, focusing instead on a simple durability rule like their old 5-up feel no pain was, or the -1 damage was. One of those to act as like a nice basic defensive rule for Death Guard as their main army rule.
Yeah, it's tough because like I do agree with you on that, and I think it's perfectly reasonable wish to rework the army rule into that durability thing. But like they honestly have eventually figured out how to do like the aura contagion stuff. So like I don't want them to completely forget the things that they've learned there.
No, that's a fair point. Yeah. You're talking from the game designer angle, and I get this at a personal level. What you and I are talking about is the like, it's a shame as a designer to finish fixing something and go, damn, I got this working. And then the project team walks over and they're like, doesn't matter. We're doing it the other way.
Right.
Soul crushing.
I think it's right to be like, yeah, great, you figured it out, but like do it this other way is like the correct decision. But like, yeah. So other ways to use the design elements would be nice to, you know, keep it in mind. But yeah, rework the armor rule for durability makes sense as a wish. Their final wish.
I like this wish. This one took a little brainstorming for us to come up with. This is bespoke transports. Basically make it so there are 0 CSM vehicles left in this army. Death Guard as a faction, as far as chaos goes, is the monogod faction that feels complete right now. Like it has like a couple holes away from not relying on the rest of chaos whatsoever and being fully flavorful within itself.
And like there's obviously more that you can do, but it feels like a full faction.
Yes, it is a faction, whereas the rest are parts of a faction being glued together by CSM. Death Guard is so close to being what the others wish they were. And if we did bespoke transports, we could kill off the rest of the CSM vehicles that they have in the faction right now and have Death Guard be made entirely of Death Guard. And I guess the Demon Prince that technically anyone can build differently for their god, you get what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm totally on board with that. There aren't even that many that you'd have to get rid of.
No, it's like the Defiler, the Hellbrute, which again, if they did a proper Redemptor Hellbrute, I would want it to work like the Demon Prince.
And like honestly, you could do, if you were gonna keep the Defiler, you could have some like upgrade sprue or something like that.
We can just delete the Defiler. It's okay. Let that fucker die.
Yeah. And then it's just like the Land Raider and tanks and stuff like that. They're like, hey, if we make this new model, hey, we're there.
Yeah, or models. You can make 2 different Nurgle transports. It's fine. And then you can kill off the rest of the vehicles and everything else Death Guard already exists.
I love the idea since it's like, it's not that far away from Death Guard, and it would help the individual gods like Death Guard, Emperor's Children, Child's Sons, World Eaters, like helps them maintain like they're separate, they're their own thing. And it also helps show CSM is its own kind of thing as well, like works on both sides.
Yeah, we're not just spiky Marines. We go proper different.
Yeah, I love that idea.
All right, Emperor's Children, Eric, your newest fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of wishes.
There's an obvious number 1. The rest is up to you, but there's an obvious number 1. World Eaters has the same one. I'll give you the hint.
We want the rest of our range.
You're not happy with your 5 models?
I actually am quite happy with those models, other than the lack of another 10. And there are some like obvious holes. Like we need some more vehicles. We need a Sonic Dread. I guess Hellbrute, whatever.
Sure. The Redemptor Hellbrute, the Slanesh edition, comes with big speakers.
Yeah, like transport, like you said with the Death Guard, like you can do that. Some more elite units, characters. Apparently Eidolon's still alive. I didn't understand this lore. I think I got confused, and Brad was like,
yeah, Eidolon's alive. His head is on his chest, but he's alive.
Okay.
He's a sick design when you listen to Bile's books.
So yeah, that seems pretty good too.
Yeah, Eidolon makes sense, by the way. For people who aren't big into lore, please stop asking for Bile to be an EC character. There is a trilogy of books that help explain to you why Bile is in no way ever an EC character. Like literally the opposite of what those books teach you. Eidolon is the leader of EC that is not Fulgrim. Like he's the one who was trying to get them all together while Fulgrim was off having his orgies.
So again, there's so much there, but yes, that is, it's like a step 1 to any other wish that you want, essentially. So a wish 2.
This is a fair wish. This is pretty true for basically World Eaters and anyone in this scenario.
You just need more ways to build lists. Some of that needs the first wish of like finish the range.
Yeah, it's hard to have variety without having a variety of models. That gets into the whole what Chaos Knights is wishing for, because they'll never get that variety. So therefore they need it off data sheet.
Yeah, customizations and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But what you're really asking for here is like different ways to play via detachments once you have your full range.
Yeah, that really is like the full range will open up additional ways to play. And so you need detachments and rules to actually support that. And then you can have like unique lists that are like actually different. And like there's more thought involved with the list building part other than I played all the units I could.
All right, what's wish number 3 then?
Let's rework Fulgrim. And it's not just make him better. Because, like, you can do that from just, like, changing damage, weapons, and, like, toughness, and all that. You can tweak numbers and make him point efficient. I don't want that.
You mean like the 10th edition glow up Magnus got, where through 8th and 9th, Magnus just was ass.
Properly make Fulgrim cool. Make the rules cool. Because, like, a bunch of them right now, like, he's got a bunch of rules. They just don't fucking do anything that's cool.
Make him 500 points, but make you excited to spend that 500 points.
Yeah, with the caveat of like, so AdMac has done a bunch of changes, and so like one of the things of like Call is kind of like unlocking a bunch of rules for the army essentially.
Yes, where you don't want it specifically to be tied to Fulgrim to get your full rules, which is annoying because then you have to run them. This gets back into what we were talking about all the way back in Sisters. Yeah.
So like don't do that, but like still make him cool. Kind of thing, because it's even more noticeable right now because there are so few data sheets that like Fulgrim is just kind of boring. It would be less noticeable if you had a bunch of options and then like Fulgrim is just like, oh yeah, it's fine, whatever. But like especially now, it's just like, oh man, I don't care. So let's rework them and then get the rest of the range. How about Thousand Suns? I mean, we know something about Psychic.
Number 1, make Psychic real again.
Yeah,
we're gonna talk about it on the Psychic factions here, but specifically for us, make us the most magical faction when you do it. Shout out to GK, shout out to Eldar, the other ones who should be up there with us, but like, this is our fucking shtick. This is why we're here, is to do magic.
I feel like Thousand Suns wants more options with their magic.
Yes.
Like not just, oh, we all have magic and like, yeah, it's, you know, maybe a little bit better than GK, so you're technically the most magical, but like you want like options.
One of the beautiful aspects of Psychic in 9th was the way they showed the Masters of the Warp differently while making them all feel cool, with Eldar having the dual spells where one guy would have a spell that could either be the buff for his guys or the debuff for the enemy, or a buff for his guys or it chucked a fireball at the enemy. That was one way to show Eldar's mastery, whereas with Thousand Suns it was we had the different spell books that you could pick.
Yeah, you just had all the options to like figure out what you want to do.
You had access to way more spells than anyone else when you were setting up your characters.
And I think that that's important for Thousand Suns to be that like the planning, the big brain magical faction.
Yes, we are the ones most likely to cast the weirdest shit, to whip out just the spell for the occasion.
And I think that that is an important part of like, hey, bringing Psychic back is not just, all right, everybody can cast Fireball or like everybody can cast a buff spell. Like Grey Knights can honestly get away with just having a few spells that are like proper spells and timed right and all that stuff.
Right. Look, GK's angle is the highly disciplined angle. They might just cast Fireball, but they're all going to cast and they're going to cast it well. It's a militaristic look at it.
Right. But like Thousand Suns needs that customization, that options to the magic, the spells, that whole aspect. And I don't see a reason why it can't happen in 11th. Like we've spitballed ideas. So like, yeah, I think this is a reasonable wish.
All right. Number 2, I debated just copying CK and talking about how much customization matters here, but minor refresh / expansion. So the dread that again, we're all kind of copying off of CSM here with our Redemptor Hellbrute, the Zinj variant. Psychic, please, for the love of fuck.
It's always funny that you don't have Psychic dreads.
I despise the Hellbrute in Thousand Suns at a core level.
Yeah, you do.
But also, while we're talking about this minor refresh expansion here, what I'm talking about, this is really weird. We've talked about this a lot on episodes when designing boxes and stuff, but if you've not heard that type of content of ours, there's a problem with how the rubric kit works. It can only give you 10 rubric Marines or 0 rubric Marines.
I always forget this.
Whereas a normal Space Marine kit, or like the new Emperor's Children kit for their battle line unit, can give you 5 or 10 because you have 2 copies of 5.
I always forget this because it's just like you can play them on 5s, so that's how you do it. That's how you make the sprues.
Yeah, so this is like the last kit that was done like this where it's screwed up, and it's the only Chaos kit that is still an old Marine size. So rubric marines are just randomly short compared to the rest of the line. So just redoing rubrics to be the proper height and be 5-able so that they can get put in combo boxes more correctly. That'd be nice. A little taller, a little bit more baller. But maybe we do melee rubrics like the 30k Blade Boys. That could be a cool addition here that if you're already doing a rubric kit, you can throw that in there when you're designing the kit. Maybe we can ask for some heavy weapon team Terminators like we've always wanted, maybe on some flying discs. It's sick as shit. I really want this.
Those ones would be pretty cool. And like, honestly, yeah, you could use melee battle line rubric kind of thing. That is kind of a hole.
Yeah, and they could be elite. It doesn't have to be like a battle line equivalent. I'm just saying, like, just throwing out ideas for things that could be like a minor expansion if we're doing update the kit.
Yeah, so like this wish is not actually like Emperor's Children. Oh, I need all of the stuff still. It's more of a redo a couple and then like add a few more because while you're there.
Yeah, it's like if you're going to pay attention at this level, let's do these 2 extra things that'll help.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not saying this one is super likely. If anything, I would almost say the Saviors might be the kill team. I don't know.
I could see them doing some type of like the heavy weapon Terminator that you're talking about. That seems like the kind of thing a kill team would be cool with.
Yeah, but for number 3 here, this one feels like retreading, but it's important here. This is a point.
All right.
And we're in Chaos. In Chaos, you end up talking about Chaos stuff. The Mono Tzeentch Codex with full support. Spells everywhere. Options for full mortal armies. Options for demon mixing. Options separating them out however you want. Piles of rules. This is your complex faction. This is for people who like headaches. This is not fucking corn. I'm not putting this in every single Chaos faction here, but it's important here specifically because this is Thousand Sons. This is Tzeentch. We are the ones most in tune between our mortals and our demons. This is the one that most wants the Mono Codex.
Yeah.
And I don't mean a shat out, half-baked piece of shit. I mean big, fat sales pitch for playing Tzeentch.
Yeah.
This should make a Space Marine player wanna turn traitor.
I'm with you. Originally, one of my wishes was like to have a way for summoning demons and stuff like that. Cause like the Thousand Sons work with the demons. Like it's a thing, like it's big brains and all that stuff. But like couldn't think of a way to like properly do that without it being dumb. So just like actually making a proper codex Tzeentch with like the rules that works. Yeah, that seems like a fine way to do it.
All right, on to World Eaters. Wish number 1, as we talked about with EC, where is the other half of our range, GW?
Yeah, a special call out to the things that were taken away.
Yeah, why don't they have bespoke Terminators when the Red Butchers are like one of the core things you can remember World Eater wise? Whereas like a proper Surgeon, the Medic Chaos faction, that's, well, EC also has some of that a little bit, but that's more bile specific, blah, blah, blah.
But like it's a hole in World Eaters and the other half of the range. Very reasonable to ask for, especially because like it's been a little while. What about for Wish 2 though?
Reworking the army rule. The Corncino, hilarious. However, as I've always pointed out, it does not mesh well with the faction's fantasy. If you're playing World Eaters, chances are your brain is smooth so that you can run faster. You want something simple. You may need something simple.
I like the army rule. It's kind of neat.
It's fun. It's a great Tzeentch army rule.
Yeah. It's okay for World Eaters to have like a bit of that flavor, but not as like the army rule. Maybe as like something kind of fun detachment wise, like take bits and pieces of it.
Sure.
But like similar to like the Death Guard idea, you got to rework the army rule to fit the ideal fantasy expectation of running that army.
Yes, and I would say it's more important here because this is further off base from what a World Eater fan thinks of. No one thinks let's go gambling. They think I want to unga bunga as hard as I can into that guy.
Yeah.
So I think a simplistic but powerful offensive rule, something that thematically matches the army while being like a Death Guard is the Chaos defense one, World Eaters is the Chaos offense one, Hulk smash.
Yeah, and third wish.
Yeah, the third wish is basically the same as EC here. It's once we have the rest of the range, let's get more ways to play the army. Right now it's very put all your models in the list.
Yeah, and do the thing that World Eaters does. So, okay.
When the World guild leader list building, when you're like talking to them and they're talking about the variety and the ways they play their faction, it comes down to, well, I'm running an 8-bound list. Well, I'm running one that's not an 8-bound list, because that's like the entire faction.
Yeah, basically.
You have the room to run or not run one of your units.
So yeah, it kind of needs, the other half of the range of the wish, but it's very necessary to have more detachments. And like I said, you can do like, some of the Corncino kind of things as like fun detachments that aren't just all the same, but like you gotta have more. But with that, we're out of chaos and we're into Aeldari.
Eldar has the most obvious first wish. We have to sort out this fucking codex. We got to figure out what we're doing, because it's not right.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, you've got Craftworld, you've got Corsairs, you've got Harlequins, and you've got Ynnari. And they're all sitting together in one codex with a bunch of Drukhari data sheets because Ynnari's here. And we have like, 7 detachments or something? It's a small number of detachments compared to the literal like 14 plus this should have if it's going to have this many factions sitting in here. Because it's basically 2 full armies and 2 half factions, all in a trench coat under one codex. And one of those factions is a racial soup faction.
It's insane. I understand some aspects of like Ynnari has to go somewhere.
Yeah, we either make this a much bigger codex and make it more like a Horus Heresy super faction codex type thing, where it's like 500 pounds.
Where like legitimately like 12 detachments is the bare minimum.
Yeah. Or we go with pulling it all out. Harlequins get their own codex again, give them a 3 or 4 kit range expansion, and then we make an Imperial Agents equivalent where we put Ynnari and Corsairs, put your super rules in there, do all the equivalent of what we did with Imperial Agents, but for Eldar. And then the codex becomes Codex Craftworld Azurani, whatever we officially have to call it.
So yeah, then you've got like the proper Craftworld codex that does its things. You've also still got Drukhari doing its things. You've got Harlequins doing its things. Then you've got like the soup with Ynnari, Corsairs also existing. That one's going to be a little loose. That one's going to be a little weird, but it's okay.
Like Imperial Agents, it can be a little bit weird, a little anemic. It's your soup faction.
But like the other ones then would have proper support, and like there is still enough possibilities from Craftworld alone to fill out a full codex. Like there's plenty of detachment ideas.
More than lore-wise, they're like the size of Space Marines. Like you can make 15 plus detachments for Aeldari without scraping the bottom of the barrel.
And like they do have a decent amount of models as well to support. Yeah, there's always still more models that we could do. We'll get to that. But like they have a bunch. There are a bunch of options that you could do still. So like it isn't one of those like, oh, we have to wish for the other half of our range here so before we can actually get detachments. Like, yeah, there's some that you can wish for, but like they already have a bunch. There's design space that exists to have a full codex.
All right, wish number 2, pretty simple here. Karandris.
Yeah, I mean, I think this one's obviously going to happen.
Yeah, the Striking Scorpion Phoenix Lord. Like it's the obvious missing one where we have new Striking Scorpions who don't have their Phoenix Lord.
Yeah, still a wish, but like this one's one of the like most slam dunk it's gonna happen.
It's like the freebie of this will be your default foot hero for the edition. Like if they give you no attention, it'll be here's your Phoenix Lord, here's your codex, get lost, see you in 3 years. Wish number 3, like with the other psychic factions, bring back psychic. We've done it like 5 times now. I'll keep it short.
Yeah, this is just another one of like they're another big psychic faction. They do really want it. I guess Harlequins has the wish.
Yeah, we gave all of Space Marines their wishes. So Harlequins, 1 wish.
Yeah, to be a faction again.
All right, that's kind of a hard ask, but maybe. Let's move into Drukhari.
All right, remember to remain calm, Brad. What's your first wish?
I will absolutely remain calm, Eric. It's fine. I have no strong emotional opinions about Drukhari right now. It's fine. Everything is okay.
Honestly, it's a fine codex. It's not good. It's not bad. It's fine.
It's not good. We agree on part of the statement. It's a complex thought I have on that codex, and I don't really want to go into it in the middle of this episode. However, number 1, we would like a range refresh, please. Give me back my grotesque, you fucking cocksuckers.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I stayed calm, see? Ideally, this range refresh would come with like 4 or 5 unit range expansion, make them the proper little brother army for the edition as your excuse to spend money on a Xenos because you're spending it all on the Space Marines at the time. This is basically Drukhari's chance to not be the faction with the oldest models in the game.
There are a bunch of models that like legitimately we've kind of like suggested for people to not actually get those models and just like find a 3D print because like those are so fucking bad.
And spoilers, all of them got fucking deleted now.
Yeah.
We're like half the size of the army we were literally 6 months ago. It's great.
Right, great. Yeah, a bunch of old models need to be updated, but at the same time, there's room for improvement with new models to fill out the prongs of the army.
Yeah. So number 2, make Power from Pain back to 9th edition's version. You tried it in 10th, it fucking sucked. You tried it in the Codex, it fucking sucked in new and amazing ways. Go back to 9th edition, it was perfect. It was one of the rules I said was a perfect rule.
Yeah, all right. I don't see any reason that they couldn't do it, honestly.
I get the argument. I have heard, like from Tabletop Tactics, Spider, Lawrence is a very, very good player, plays a shitload of Drukhari, more than I do, had strong opinions on Power from Pain in 9th being boring and not being thematic to Power from Pain. I disagree because I think it reminds me of how Dark Elves work in Total War, where throughout the fight, the pain has grown so they get more buffs. But whatever, he liked the 10th edition version from a thematic standpoint. However, it fucking blows to play with and no one likes it. So anyway, I say we go back to the 9th edition one, but I get the arguments people have for why they like the 10th edition one outside of gameplay.
That's fair. But what's the third wish?
This one's a little weird. Getting rid of my smarmy attitude for a moment. If we're doing psychic and prayers for everybody else, Drukhari is one of the few factions in the game that is obviously they don't have the in-lore equivalents. Necrons has the science so good it's magic, so you just give them psychic, but it's just skinned as the Necron science.
A bunch of others have prayers to, do thematically, or they're psychic. So like basically everybody else has close enough that you can get an equivalent. Drukhari, on the other hand,
They're specifically non-psychic and they worship no gods except money. So let's dream up, not on this episode, but just in general, GW, let's dream up some like contract system or bounty system or calling in favors, something like that to be a unique equivalent to psychic and prayers. Once per game abilities in a list that maybe they're strong but come with a downside or a high price, have different costs to pull from your pool of funds since you're on a real space raid or whatever and you've got X funds to work with. Something like that, because it helps with our historically no psycherness when everyone else will have psychic. I also think historical anti-psyker stuff that the Drukhari have always developed needs to be on full display in 11th edition if psychic comes back. I know we hate anti-psyker's existence in 10th because it's literally just psychic as a keyword as a downside, but Drukhari is the correct place to be having stuff like this.
yeah, I mean, like you said, we're not gonna actually like dream up how this is done.
Not today.
It is gonna be difficult to like properly, but Drukhari is one of these that like if everybody else is like wishing for the psychic or prayer or whatever their version of this ability in the game is gonna be, Drukhari is the one that like they do need to figure out how to fill that gap in a thematic way. So yeah, makes sense. So what about Genestealers then?
All right, number 1. This one is honestly, I didn't have it in my list, but the minute someone else said they wanted it desperately, I'm like, this is right for Genestealers as a whole. More support for Tyranid and Guard soup, but not at the expense of our detachments.
No, these are like, you make the core Genestealer cult detachments, like this is a full codex. And then in addition, we have a couple extras, each for Nids and Guard, and we have support on top of it.
Yeah, something to actually feel like we have proper soup support for Genestealers, 2 famous soups. I know that we kind of have this in the codex, but it sucks real bad. It got rid of one of our extremely few detachments.
Yeah, it's like the ideas exist so that, GW knows that like that soup matters, but they didn't commit, and they also did it at the expense of the rest of Genestealers.
Yeah, and like this lesson goes through chaos for how they handled chaos poorly, and they tend to have issues with how they handled soup.
But Genestealers, I think, is one of the factions that it soups well, and there are going to be a decent amount of players that want to do that, either with Nids or with Guard, or, like probably not all together in one person.
Yeah, whichever direction they like their Genestealers in their collection to go.
So, yeah, I think that is an important one.
All right, number 2.
On a similar thing to the not at the expense of Genestealer detachments, let's just also rework those attachments.
Entirely. From from the ground up. Delete them all.
Well, so like there are one or two that I look at and I'm like, those are fine as like 6th and 7th detachments.
Yes.
Of like, yeah, you've got your core ones, and then here's your like that model. That's a cool model. We're gonna make a detachments about that model. But like,
spoiler for an upcoming episode you'll all see next season. We're going to do a breakdown reviewing the designs of the 10th edition codexes, not their power level, but their designs. And Genestealers has an awful design for its detachments. Every one of them is the detachment type I talk about in How Not to Make a Detachment episode of this exact one model gets rules. Otherwise, go fuck yourself. That is not how you want detachments to work, where it's like spam 18 copies of this bike or it won't work.
like I said, like those can be okay, fun ones of like in addition to a full codex full of like proper detachments that are all like, you know, unique and doing their own things and like fully working with the army. Then you have a Grotmus detachment in addition that's like, you know, your 7th detachment or whatever, and it's just about this one unit. That's fun and cool, but like that's not what Genestealers currently has.
No, we've got the one that only works on bikes, the one that only works on aberrants, the one that everyone thinks is generic, but that's because its trick is it only works on leaders. But anyway, we're not getting into it right now. Too long of a topic, but yeah, the detachments in Genestealers are problematic and need an entire redo.
Which leads us to the third wish.
The third wish. This is like the one bit of expansion I would want in Genestealers. A kit that's more aberranty, mutanty side of things, and another kit that's more on the vehicle Mad Max side of things. It just gives you more to play with when you're designing detachments, to have a little more to the two major like sides of the army.
I think that that's fair. I think those are also some of the models that like individual collectors of Genestealers are going to be like, yes, aberrants are so cool. So like having another one makes sense.
Right. It's your reasons you would pick up the faction. Either you're like, damn, I love the Mad Max and Scrotum Heads part. Or you're like, damn, I love the jacked up mutant guys and Scrotum Heads part.
So yeah, I think asking or wishing for one of each of those units isn't too much.
All right, moving into Leagues of Votann. Votann just got its second half of a range. It feels great, but we'd still take another 2 or 3 kits over the edition. A Dreadnought equivalent with a little dwarf inside of a huge mech.
Yeah, some type of walker is definitely missing from Votann.
We'd also take like giant drill vehicle. That'd be dope.
That would be fun.
Look, didn't have the strongest opinions on what Votann needs other than the second one here. It's nice that they got some variety here at the tail end of their second edition. Must feel nice from the World Eater players.
Yeah, Votann's wishes were a little tougher just because like they did just get a major bump in the unit count, and you know, Codex is still pretty new. So like, yeah, trying to figure it all out. But second wish is yeah, you tried out a new army rule. Let's go again.
Look, their first army rule, thematically it was cool. It had problems.
Yes.
Their second army rule, thematically is cool. Shows off a different angle of the army, which, by the way, we fucking called when we were talking about the problem with Grudge and the fact that it doesn't have to be that. There's other angles of Votann you can make for the army rule. It doesn't have to stay that one for forever. Nailed it because they went with the yield system.
Yeah, thematic.
It's also thematic in a different way. It also could use work. So I'm just saying, new army rule for 11th edition. You can pull from either of those or a third variety based on the Votanns helping them in some way. Whatever you want to do.
Honestly, Votann is still new enough that like it doesn't have the World Eaters, the Death Guard of like, here's the expectation. You have to kind of hit that or like things just don't make sense. There are some basic expectations for Votann, but there's still a lot of leeway to them figuring out what the core army rule should be. So yeah, they can still play with it, but another try.
And then third, more detachment variety. They got the range update, but they didn't get as much detachment variety as I would like to show it off and to make you feel like you're properly building your different slants based on what you like most.
It's not the worst, but there's definitely some potential for further. So may as well ask for it.
All right, moving into Necrons. Number one, most important thing, above all else, Trajan's refresh.
Hell yeah.
We need rules that befit his grandeur.
I mean, we also just need a model that's really cool.
Yes.
Like, there's so much potential from a Trajan model.
The model is step one, but step two is rules to match, because his rules ain't nothing right now. Just Trajan in general, let us give our boy what he needs. He wants to be the very best, like no one ever was. Borrelio, you can have 3 seconds tops.
Borrelio, careful about this one, okay? But yes, it feels so obvious that like this is gonna happen.
It felt obvious the last edition and a half.
True.
The main character of what is, I believe, the best-selling book of like multiple of the last few years for GW based on like the Warhammer World Rankings thing they've got.
Yeah.
No model from this century.
Honestly, a model that like I'm surprised they haven't legendsed it.
Just to hide it so that you
Yeah.
don't look up Trazen and find out this is what he looks like in game.
Where like I feel like there's an amount of people that read the book and are like, this is so cool. And they look it up and they're like, oh my God, that's what we've got.
And then you look up his very thematic and interesting rules.
But wish number 2.
This one's weird.
I like this one though.
Okay, so this is my vague wish for a destroyer / Flayed One range expansion / finalization. Like, let's figure out what we're doing here. So we're getting the new destroyer lord. We already know about that. I would like to see Flayed Ones get a proper lord, like literally GW designer. Just go read Twice Dead King. You're gonna shit out 5 new Necron kits reading this because there's the coolest shit in there.
So if they're not gonna like properly like flesh out the flare virus with like 4 more units and they're gonna keep it like meshed together with the destroyer part, having at least a lord to pair with them, so it's like you've got the lord and the unit and like they're all they're kind of mixed together with destroyer, and that's a little weird, but like sure, okay, that seems like a nice minimum.
Yeah, and then like on the destroyer side of things, we need the locust refresh because they're like the only old kit, and maybe then we can look at some thematic unification or synergy between them. Might need to get some lore guys involved here. I understand the difference. Do not try to lecture me on Necron lore, fuckers. But I'm also aware that we're not Space Marines, and the chance that they fully flesh out Flayed Ones as much as they need to be to stand on their own as a prong of the army, it's never happening.
Nah, I don't think so.
So I will settle for us, like rules wise, just bashing destroyers and Flayed Ones into a single pool of spooky Necrons that scare me.
Honestly, you could probably do it with a character or 2 that like you put together some lore.
Twice Dead King.
And it's like, yeah, it doesn't make like the most sense, but there's at least some justification and it's good enough. There's ways to do it because like right now there's nothing.
Ultix is right there.
So yeah, I do quite like that. What's the third wish though?
The third wish, let our cryptex use their godlike science abilities to the fullest.
Psychic.
Yes, psychic, but Necron skinned.
Honestly, that's fair. The fact that it's tech based means that you could do some fun rule stuff with it.
If we're just going to say cryptex are wizards here, right? Because they fucking are.
Essentially, yeah.
It is in lore, it is technically science so advanced you can't tell the difference between it and magic. But they're fucking wizards. We have so many variants of, like, if you want to say a weird boy or a Space Marine librarian. We beat both orcs and Space Marines in number of fucking wizard models we have access to in Necrons.
There's a lot of potential there, isn't there?
There is. And when you read Necron lore, the amount of shit cryptex can do because they're bullshit.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun that can be done there. Properly make them alien robot things.
All right, let's go from one of my factions to one of yours. Let's do orcs.
Honestly, orcs are in a great spot.
Honestly, 10th edition's codex was pretty solid for orcs. We could add 10 more detachments and keep on cooking because orcs is deep and fun. But what you got for your wish for 11?
I wouldn't mind a refresh to like the boys part. All right, boys just got a new one, but also they're still selling the old one for a reason.
Yeah, they're selling the old one because the new kit is so great.
Like, I honestly like the new boys kit.
The design is wonderful. The fact that you cannot build 10 melee boys or 10 shooter boys out of it is borderline criminal.
Yeah, it's a problem. The more you look at it into how the sprue's designed and everything, it's not a great kit, but it does look cool. Whatever. The rest, like Saludas, Weird Boys, Knobs, Flash Gits, Mega Knobs, like
Storm Boys, Burna Boys.
all of those could use a refresh. Some of them more than others. Ludas are particularly bad in my opinion, as much as I do like them.
Yeah, the junkyard part of the army is relatively nice and pretty. The beast boss part of the army, like anything with them, is all brand new
And beautiful and awesome. But like the boys part's getting a little old. A lot of the kits are from like 2009.
How old is the truck? Isn't that like stupid old?
It's basically the same era as a bunch of those.
Really? It's that new? 2?
Pretty sure.
Wow. It aged like shit.
It's fine, but like it's also an orc truck, so like you could do whatever you want to it.
It's only fine because it's an orc truck.
But like they've done like the tank bus does, so like some of these can come from Kill Team. I'm okay with that.
The Kill Team can do as many orcs as they want. They gave us the commandos and the tank busters.
Yeah, they kind of knock it out of the park. So getting a couple of these would be great.
No, what you want to ask the Kill Team for, Eric, is your second wish.
Wish number 2 is more grots.
This is supposed to be Orcs' wish, Eric, not your wish.
I'm talking like let's keep going. Let's make it another full wing of the faction. You know, you talked about like the junkyard, the squigs, the boys. We got the grots part. All right.
So the grots prong of Orcs is currently what? The Bubble Chucka kit, a 25-year-old grot kit, and the Killicans, which you're a big fan of.
Yeah. So yeah, it's the guns, the Killicans, and the grots.
And you think you're getting enough to get a full grot army, huh?
We've got a bunch of legend stuff. So like there's potential. You just have to like redo them and make them better and like keep going.
They were like old Forge World, here's how you make this out of a tin can shit.
Yeah, grot tanks. It's great. And we've got all the red gobos.
14 legends half canon character.
They're awesome, okay? We can do this. I have faith. And it doesn't have to happen all at once. The 11th edition wish is just like another kit of grots. And then in like a few more years, we'll get another one. And then eventually we're going to have the grot uprising.
Okay.
I believe in the red gobbo. All right.
What's your third one, Eric?
So wish number 3 is kind of like Imperial Guard in this. Imperial Guard had issues with indirect fire. Orcs have issues with aircraft.
This is fair. The aircraft fly rules, for people who don't know, in our 11th edition rules talk, Eric was the big proponent for fixing aircraft.
I've thought about it a little bit.
A big part of this is Orcs.
Yeah, because they have really cool aircraft.
And they have access to like 4 different bespoke aircraft or something, or 5. I can't remember. It's a lot.
I think it's 4, but you have 4 aircraft that are all like, these are cool and you can play them, and they're not all like 600 points and dumb and stupid and slow. No, we got cool kits. But to like say, hey, let's make the aircraft work would be like, let's fix 11th edition aircraft kind of thing. I don't know if they're going to want to do that.
I get what you're saying of like, this is like when I ask for psychic for factions that can do psychic. And Orcs can do psychic, but they don't have to waste a wish on it. You're asking for the aircraft because out of anyone who cares about aircraft, Orcs is high up there.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, if they want to do it by having like a detachment, we were saying with like IG, that fixes aircraft for that detachment,
like an Orcs Red Baron detachment.
I'll take it. That works for me. I would like them to actually figure out aircraft and fly at some point. That'd be great from just like a core rules, but like from Orcs wishes, a detachment to solve the problems, I'm here for it.
All right, let's move into Tau then. Say it with me, Eric. Wish number 1, battle suits with laser katanas.
Yeah, it was like melee battle suits, but laser katanas is the way to do it.
If you're a coward, you can just do a laser sword, but laser katana. Weeb it the fuck up.
You have to just lean into it at a certain point, right? Just accept that this is what's happening and like do it right. So yeah, a suit with a laser katana. It's awesome. Slam dunk. They'll probably do it and sell it for like $400.
All right, jokes aside, I love Eric's number 2. This was not originally the number 2, but then Eric showed me his list and I deleted what we had, and this is number 2 now, Eric.
Yeah, let's get some more books like Elemental Council from Noah Van Wyn.
Yeah, it was absolutely great, and this is honestly one of the more clever wishes, because there's a lot of factions in 40k who have pretty anemic lore in their pool. Honestly, this would have been a good wish for Votann.
True.
I think it's fair game to say your wish for 11th edition is to expand on your lore, have you have a more respectable base to draw from for your own ideas and for drawing people into the faction and making them want to play it.
Yeah, a couple of the other factions definitely could have done it, but I feel like Tau, really, the whole like Tau Empire coalition thing, there's a lot there that could be just like quite different from a lot of 40k lore books while still being in the universe, and like Elemental Council is great, so keep doing it.
Importantly, Elemental Council made me want other types of Tau books. We talked talked about it during that episode of like, I want to see different aspects of the Tau Empire that we have like zero lore on.
Like Kroot books, just everything, honestly. It's so much.
I want to see like more daily civilian life within the spheres.
Yeah, dude, there's a lot there. It's exciting, it's fun, it's cool. I expect that there will be more. I don't know how well that book is done from a sales aspect. I feel like it's probably done pretty decent, but definitely want more of that.
All right, wish number 3, Eric. What do we got?
Yeah, I mean, on a similar vein, excited to learn more lore and books from like other parts of Tau Empire. Let's also just expand the auxiliary cadre part of the army from models, units, other than Kroot. Honestly, also other than Vespids, though I would like one more Vespid model.
Sure.
But like, there's a bunch more in the Tau Empire coalition thing.
You Googled and put the next one on the list here.
Yeah, there's some weird shit. There's some like normal stuff like what you had with like, you know, the Guevasa and even some like Votann and Guard, and like you had a weird one as well. But there's also some just weird shit like the Galg. I want a model.
Which, for those in audio land who cannot see what we found, it's like a squid octopus coral thing.
Yeah, it's something like that all together. Yeah, I want a model like that. We probably don't need a bunch of models like that, but one would be cool.
And you're right in that you don't need 50 of each of them. You need one of 50 of them, because you want to show off that the Tau is like including all of these Xenos under their banner. But yeah, you can go with some of the more basic ones to start with, like doing the Demiurge, which is Votann, or doing Guevasa, which is humans. And you basically just do, you know, like a Tau armor get up on like Tau kitted out humans, or Tau kitted out, which honestly looks a lot like Votann anyway, Votann.
Yeah.
Get a Votann in a sweet techno rice hat. That got a vibe, man.
Honestly, that does have a pretty cool vibe. I'm here for it. And like, yeah, it doesn't need to be that many, so you don't have to be like, oh, but then we've only got so much design space. That's fine.
You just need one unit like this. You're just trying to show off that there is other things in Tau, and then you make your detachment for if you want to play all of these and give them some rules together.
Yeah, I mean, you've got an image here.
The last one, if you have the balls for it, GW, you won't. You do the fan favorite, the non-chaos traitor Astartes that are in all kinds of lore and never fucking appear anywhere.
Yeah, this would be the place to put them.
Dude, it's something that like officially doesn't have any lore. Unofficially, you can find billions of fan arts of people doing Space Marines in way cooler Tau get-ups and 3D models if you know where to look, but I won't post those here because I didn't get permission and I'm not that guy. But you can find cool fan arts all over that Borelli can post some and give credit for.
But that one's pretty unlikely. Would be cool. But the idea of expanding the rest, like, it's awesome that the Kroot got a big expansion, and I think that that's nice that there's one major prong of the non-Tau part, but showing more of the rest, and it doesn't have to be to the point of Kroot, but like having a model or two, that'd be cool. That'd be awesome.
All right, let's move into our final faction here. Tyranids.
Yeah.
Look, their number one is obvious.
Let's rework that army rule.
Yeah, it fucking sucks. Shadow in the Warp is ass. Everything to do with Battle Shock sucks. Let's get rid of it. Let's do something new, different, more interesting.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's tough because like I hate Shadow in the Warp and how it's set up, while there's still so much potential for like what it could entail. Synapse is kind of neat, but doesn't do anything.
I mean, Synapse, yeah, is kind of like a bonus army rule that's always been a thing. Whatever. Synapse is not what we're talking. We're talking about Shadow in the Warp. Number 2, I actually stole this one from a patron because I hadn't thought of it, but it instantly became my wish when I read it. Let's redo Crusher Stampede to be a proper Monster Mash detachment. Let's make a proper, you just want to play all the monsters all the time detachment. You want to feel no guilt about this. You don't care about strategy. Fuck that noise. Unga bunga.
Yeah, Crusher Stampede was neat. The core idea of like getting buffs from being wounded, half strength, whatever, can be cool if it's like woven in with enhancements and strats that like allow you to sacrifice yourself and like get bonuses, and then you're also getting detachment rule enabled, and like there's a lot of cool stuff there. It doesn't make any fucking sense for the big Monster Mash detachment to try and do that.
Yeah, so let's redo Crusher Stampede proper.
Yeah.
And then wish number 3 here. This is the only range thing Tyranid wise that I think is reasonable to wish for next edition. If we're going to have one refresh / range expansion, let's refresh the warriors and make it where you can build the winged warriors / shrikes, however you want to call them, so that the winged Tyranid Tyranid Prime has something to lead.
That would be fair, yeah. Otherwise, Tyranids just got a bunch of stuff there. I mean, 10th edition reworked and some new stuff, so not too many holes there. But yeah, Refreshed Warriors would be great.
All right, that finished the last faction. We did it, Eric.
And shockingly, not every single one was just 3 new models.
Or bring back Psychic for every time I could do it.
Yeah, it came up a decent amount of times, and like, yeah, there's definitely models that we want, but a bunch of different wishes. So
Try that again.
a bunch of fucking shit balls. Fuck, cut it.
No, do it right. This is staying in. We do it every time I do it. You have to suffer.
Not if I just don't retake the line.
Leave all this in, Borrelio. Let them know he had fear. Yeah, there really was a bunch of different wishes. I'm flipping Eric off right now, but he can't see it. All right, but I think that's enough for this week. Please, if you have your own thoughts for what you want for your faction, feel free to share them below for your wishes. I love reading this stuff. It's real fun. And if you're from the future and you know what came in 11th edition for some of these factions, feel free to tell us how right or wrong it was. I probably won't read a comment from that long in the future for this episode, but I'll pretend I will so that we get more engagement.
I mean, it is possible. Like, whenever there's like a new comment from other videos that like pops up on the little feed. So like, if it's timed right.
I answered one from like a 2-year-old video, like 9 minutes after someone posted it this week. So you can't say I never do it. All right, that does it for us this week. But before we go, let's shout out a bunch of people who really deserve it for keeping us running. We have a bunch of patrons who pay us so much money, we have to shout them out every month because they love Borrelio and want him not to starve to death. I don't know why. They are a pulsating ball of pure energy,
A suspicious looking guy,
a dachshund,
Adeptus Diabetes, insulin sold separately,
Adrian Franca,
Alan Dunn,
Amdragon,
a Mists,
Andreas,
another hairy Sasquatch,
Arcus Trans Now, deal with it,
are bald men predisposed to chaos corruption,
Ave Dominus Nuts,
Biggs the Purple Necron,
Blubbles 180,
Bob Myers,
Bob Kerr.
Brad, I think Jenny saw you at a Cracker Barrel dressed like a fire slayer again.
That was the one I cracked up at pre-episode and said I have to stop reading these till we're on air. BRB, gotta snaz my wagon.
Canuck,
Carnivex,
Chad the Frog,
Christopher Gargliano,
Chroma Vale,
Colin H,
Commander Cicada,
Craig Judge,
Crazy Shack 48,
Cube 1359,
Dairy Sorcerer, Addicted to Mana Potions,
Daniel Field 5150,
Dixoni,
Dominic Colasico,
Edward Lawrence,
Enchanted Galaxy Cat,
Ereve,
Ethan Flores.
Eve the Thief,
Everyone in the Fabius Bile trilogy is JoJo posing.
Funding Eric's Lifestyle,
Gathering Clouds,
Gear Overlord.
Geet, Jesus Christ.
Help, I'm stuck in Brad's fun sock and the milk is very salty.
Real close to the line.
Very close. Like,
Hemorrhock.
Heretic Talks,
Hey look, Marathi and Lilith are playing footsies with each other.
Hyena Beans,
Hypnotic Spectre.
I be cracking my barrel.
If 30 Terminators is wrong, then I will constantly lose.
Ilindi,
Iron Father.
Izakal,
Istvan Wolf.
Jack Gaming,
Jacked Zat.
Jarrett DePerna,
Jerry Kill Team.
Justin Uzak,
Khan Tunsil.
Katie and Moore,
Kentorb.
Kinney Biani, something.
You tried that, but not there was a bunch of wishes. Kozak.
Kozak, but better and stronger.
We found out that is not the same person, by the way.
Yeah.
Krishna.
Lucas,
Lord of Chaos.
Matthew Tsushima,
Mech Lord of the Bad Dragon Clan. Oh no.
Michael Melcher,
Michelle, who thinks they should add an army rule to Imperial Agents. Well, you'll be happy this episode. I did too.
Mitchell,
Miwa Bell for Chapter Master of the Imperial Fist 2028. Long may she reign.
Mixolodius,
Burnt toast.
Morpheal 55,
Not Gaffy.
Not EE,
Omega Shark.
Pegging Championship, MPEG versus Cracker Baron,
Pierce forgot about changing their name as a bit for a while.
Proteus 7331,
Kellen.
Reigns 13,
Ratchet 7989.
Retheus Khan,
Ring Wraith.
Rock,
Rogue Trader Jake.
Ross Warlock,
Roth.
Remora,
Saf Jet. It's German. Deal with it.
Sriracha Sauce,
Scott Galmier.
Scott the Irish,
Scuba Steve.
Shax's Pet Otter,
Sister Leviathan of the Sororitas.
Solonite,
The Mailman.
the Marines Malevolent are the best child soldiers,
The Crusader 13.
the Fish Guy,
Thrango.
Tom McGrath.
Uwu Luna. Also real close to the line for other reasons.
This is the first time you've had to read it.
I just don't want to say uwu.
Yeah, I was like, I've taken that bullet for a while now. Vati the Picori.
Van Griff,
Warhammer Caleb.
Woodstock,
Would you rather get topped from the sloppity biopiper or get ravaged by the great Mog Emperor of mankind?
Why So Mad 2,
Zach Wade.
and Zimbabwe. Thank you all so much for supporting the show. We also have producers we thank every week. They are Aetherian, corrupted but fabulous.
Ava Warrior Princess.
Blastmasters are translators for dubstep weebs.
Blisted Brain.
Breaking news, a raccoon broke into the bar and was found drunk and unconscious in the bathroom. Scotch was his drink of choice.
Commissar Cruz, Pegger of the Imperium.
Corvus.
Demolition Man.
Eric's Foot tier list when? I don't know. Ask the top comment on this video and every video for the last 2 months.
Eventually they'll forget about it. I know. Eric, how much to finish the Baneblade? How much many feet picks will make you work? Brad, why is Eric freeloading so hard?
Well, if you made it this far into the credits, I will give you a piece of information. It is impossible for me to get Eric to finish the Baneblade at this moment in time. You may take that however you want until the announcement. Gilgamesh versus
Grant Yoth.
grips your...
I think that's a bit.
That one's over the line. I'm sorry. You can't do that one. Hi, been trying to reach you about the PEG warranty. Nope. Also over the line.
Stormy.
Yon Geisy.
Kiwi Fruitbird.
Libloop Bloop.
Loaf of Disappointment.
Mr. Squiggums.
NJ Harlan.
Pizza 00100.
Sam Brown.
Scott the Jim Crab, Mr. Festastic.
Somebody once told me the world was gonna peg me. I ain't the roundest hole on the board.
Something Something Cracker Barrel Amada Name Ideas.
That Moiety.
Victorian Batman.
War Game Simulator.
We will get a Dark Mechanicum army before Eric does a single Baneblade rivet. You're wrong.
But thank you.
Thank you all so much for supporting the show. That's it for us this week. We're out of here.
Sounds good.